C'est que tu commences à t'intéresser à toi.
C'est intéressant.
Bien sûr que tu l'es. T'es beau, intelligent.
Arrête de te foutre de ma gueule.
Bien sûr, t'es tout là-dedans. Mais t'es incapable de le voir, de le sortir.
Je sais. C'est pas facile.
Mais si c'est facile, bien, tu la vois. Regarde dans la glace. Qu'est-ce que tu vois? Regarde dans la glace. Qu'est-ce que tu vois?
All right, let's get started. Welcome back to the stream. Hopefully all the sound is sounding good. We got some upgrades from our buddy Bullet Breezy, giving us a tutorial on his stream that was just happened before ours. And now we're getting a little art. And today we're gonna draw a little Cyclops because we can. Oh, and there we go. I think we got our first raid. Welcome to the stream, Bullet Breezy Gang. And we're doing some drawing today. Drawing a Cyclops. Kind of doing a little bit of just chatting. Just drawing. Let's exaggerate this brow line. You know what? Let's go Neanderthal. Hang on. I got this new keyboard. It's supposed to make make Photoshop better, but I'm missing some keys on this keyboard. There we go. I think we're gonna erase all this. We're gonna go like Neanderthal eyebrow, kind of like big old thing here. Yeah, there we go. And let's erase that cheekbone, and we're gonna just make this thing exaggerated all to hell. There we go. I don't know about that. There we go. Welcome to the stream. Now I see you guys. I was kind of cheating. I had your stream still going so I can see everything. Now I see everything popping up on the chat. I'll go ahead and just say it again. We are drawing a Cyclops today. There we go. And we're using Photoshop to do that. To do the drawing. Hello, hello. What a beautiful beard. Thank you. I've cultivated this beard through what feels like lifetimes. You might see me looking back and forth. I was just saying, I don't know if you guys heard it or if you guys are just now popping in. I have a smaller keyboard just to the left of me because I have a very fancy tablet that I bought a couple years back. And this little keyboard that I bought is missing keys that I use quite often. So I kind of have to look back over to get to those keys. And one of the main ones that I like using helps control the size of the brush that you got. We are drawing a Cyclops today. Just for no reason other because we can. I think we need to get him more dome piece up here. What do you think? Let's bring it up like this. Let's do kind of like a cone head shape here. Or kind of like a gorilla shaped head. What you think? A bad mustache makes a beard look ratty. You know what? I can, yes. If, well, I mean, a bad beard can make a bad beard look bad, right? If you, I mean, my beard probably doesn't look good. It's probably all over the place, looking crazy. I've been drawing, man. That's a loaded question right there because everyone has been drawing since they were kids, right? That's kind of it. But we had some secret bullet lore in his stream, so maybe I'll just go ahead and give you guys a little bit of a little history of, you know, how I started getting into drawing. And like most everyone, you kind of get it when you're in like school, like elementary school. And there was this guy on this bus, and I'm actually still friends with him. This was 3rd grade. I am still friends with him to this day. But I saw him drawing on the bus, like a couple seats ahead of me. And I mean, it wasn't anything like good, because, you know, 3rd grade drawings don't look that good. But I thought it was cool, and I was like, oh damn, I gotta know this guy. I gotta learn. He's gotta teach me how to draw. And ever since then, I've been drawing. And it wasn't really until 8th grade did I really decide, like, man, drawing is kind of my passion. And when I got to the end of high school, I was looking at going to like the Art Institute or SCAD, and that didn't really pan out. Instead, I went into the military, and then I came back 4 years later and went into the Art Institute, and it kind of sucked, to be honest with you. No, definitely not my whole life. I didn't pop out being born with a pencil or paper in my hand. I don't think I've ever won any awards for drawing. I was always into fantasy stuff or comic book stuff. They actually had, when I was in 6th grade, they did this one time, and they never had this class again. But they had a class called Comic Book Studies. It was the single best class I ever had, without a doubt. It was kind of like it was a ruse of like, hey, you can learn how to write your story, your comic book story, and draw. But most everyone just took the class to kind of mess around because it was an easy class. I took it seriously, and the final project was actually to turn in a full comic book, and I turned in 2. Let's see here. See, and I was actually explaining that in my last stream about patience, because I think Ratatouille style, I think anyone can draw. I said it last time too, but it takes patience, because everyone has that expectation where it's like, I want it to be good, and I want it to be good now. I don't want my stick person to look bad, and when you look at it, you think, damn, this looks like shit. What the hell? And then you kind of give up on yourself before you even get a chance to really get those skills in. Oh, I didn't like that. I see you guys talking about playing instruments. That's another bit of secret lore. I was actually in band when I was in high school too. These bottom teeth don't look good. Oh well. Let's do this. And do that. And then Control D to deselect. B for brush. And let's just do it again. That's the cheatiness of Photoshop. Is that you get to you could just kind of start over. Control Z. Actually, you know what? I'm kind of just get right in there and kind of outline everything first before we start putting all these details in. We can clean it up later. There we go. Oh, that ear was a little too high up. Like I said, cheating me. Then, if you do, was it? I got on here, right? Yeah. Control T. And hey, look, we can just bring this ear down a little bit. We can probably actually rotate. Hang on. Rotate this ear out a little bit. We can make this ear a little bit bigger. Look at that. Can't do that with a pen and paper anymore. Oh. Enter, then Control D. There we go. Look at that. Suno. I love Suno. I actually take a pretty controversial take on AI. I think AI is cool as hell. AI art looks cool as hell. If you use AI art and say you're an artist, that isn't cool as hell. That doesn't work that. That's cheating. Let's see. I just noticed that I think I have a feathering effect. No, whoops, didn't mean to do that. Control D. I think there's a feather. There is a 10 point feather. That needs to be 0. There you go. The body for demons? The body for demons. Oh, like demons coming from hell, and that's AI. Probably. You know, we're probably going to have some kind of Terminator situation going on as we, as AI develops, and they're just going to take over, and hopefully they'll remember how nice I was to them and make me more like a pet, you know? That's what I'm thinking. That's what I'm hoping for. Alright, let's try this again. And I'll make this bigger. Hey, we all believe in different things, but I mean, we can all call a demon can be different things for us, but kind of mean the same thing when it comes to just evil incarnate. All right, we'll put a little tooth there, a little tooth there, a little tooth there. I don't like that at all. There we go. And these teeth aren't coming out good at all. Again. I need to make this brush a little smaller, I think. Yeah, that's actually a great example. There's a lot of vices that we can call demons. That looks a lot better. Whoops. Yeah, right here. This guy's got a beefy neck. Yeah, I'm gonna do this. There we go. There we go. We'll probably draw back over this just to make sure that we get some clean lines. Because this is kind of sloppy, but we're kind of coming up with the concept of what we're drawing today. And then this guy's got some huge traps. Collarbone. All right, give him some muscles. Oh, well, hang on. I just realized we don't got much of a center eye, do we? There we go. That's not too bad of a thing going on here. If we clean that up like this. Alright, so let's make this better. We're gonna add another layer. We're gonna lower the opacity of our original layer. Now we can kind of go in with more deliberate lines. This eye just doesn't look as good as it could. I think we can go nice and slow. That line did not go as well as it needs to. So we also do painting guides, or paint-alongs, maybe we should call it that instead, where I do paint Warhammer models. Add some just extra shadows here. I think because it needs to the brown needs to kind of be really thick along this right here. I think we're just gonna make this a big old thick recess here. Bam. I think we clean up this edge here. I'm finding this a lot harder to be able to pay attention to the chat and draw at the same time, since they're not right. The chat's not directly in front of me. I had to keep glancing off to the side here. But I'll try my best to keep up with you guys. There we go. Got a button here. So now, add some details under this eye. It's like some wrinklies. Couple little wrinklies. Some kind of crow's feet situation going on over here and over here. Actually looks pretty good now. There we go. I think we'll see how it looks. I'm gonna say give it more of a curve to it. How's that look? Yeah, okay. Big old flaring nostrils. There we go. I feel like religion is one of those topics you want to stay away from. Next thing I know, I'll look over and you guys will be talking about politics. I'll be like, what is going on? I mean, feel free to talk whatever you want to talk about, but I hopefully I don't get burned for it, you know? So pretty much the technique I'm doing here is like I just made this really rough sketch. And now that I made this rough sketch, we can go over it with cleaner lines. And then we'll do some color. Like that right ear right here, that looks kind of janky. I mean, this ear on the left side, that looks pretty okay. This ear is looking kind of weird. But we're going back over it so we can kind of change up how we want to do that. And we can make clean lines for the teeth. Like these two in the middle kind of look really weird. But if we just make them more like the other ones, it will set in place just nicely. Probably in another future stream, I need to get back into doing 3D modeling stuff for my Etsy shop. So we can have more products to choose from. Oh, you know what? Yeah, we can kind of add more detail into the gum line. Like this guy doesn't even have lips. We can add some little ridges. There we go. We can give him like a Thanos chin too. We'll think about it. Let's extend his brow out and into this original line here. And then we can do this. There we go. We can do some with his eyes too, like do little lines here. There we go. Give some. Do it on this other side too. Let's see what you guys are saying. No politics. I agree. Hey, that's a good policy. Yeah. Honestly, you know, that isn't that the whole point of being free, being alive, being free. You get to live your life as you choose. As long as you're not hurting anyone else, you should be able to live your life as you want to. Now, if it doesn't pay the bills, then that's when you get a day job, right? Honestly, this would be it. Drawing all day? I think if we just turn all this black. Let's get rid of that under. Yes, that looks really good. And actually, I think we can just go ahead and kind of let's just do that Thanos thing I was talking about and give some ridges to his brow. He almost looks like, well, now that I did this, he almost kind of looks like he's stoned right now. High as a kite. Stoned to the bone. Are you asking how I'm erasing the lines underneath? Photoshop has a really cool thing called layers. So this original drawing that I did, this kind of rough sketch, this is on one layer. And I can hide that layer. Whoop, it's gone. Or I can bring it back. There it is. So I did my rough sketch, and now I'm pretty much just tracing over it and making details as I go. And the brush that I have actually responds to pressure. So as I apply more pressure, it actually makes the brush bigger. And as I put a little bit of pressure, it makes it nice and tiny. So I can actually vary the line weight as I do this drawing. No, I was asking, how do you just draw the line straight and shade and add and the Thanos lines freehand? Just those lines would be so stressful for me, bro. Or to me, bro. Years of practice. I'm also kind of like mentally insane. Like I'm seeing everything as I'm drawing it how I want it to be. So I kind of already see it. Like I'm imagining things. I also had a couple references on my phone, and I was kind of glancing at a couple of those as I was doing it, but I mean, I essentially just drew a person with one eye, and drawing people isn't hard. If you wanted me to draw like a car or a building or something, I'd have a lot of a more hard time getting that to look good than drawing people. Because I really want to do like comic book art and stuff when I was younger. Actually, you kind of hit the nail on the head. It was kind of like having an epiphany. A lot of the techniques, or I don't know if it was like the techniques that I learned, or if it was like just one day I was drawing and it just clicked, and then I'm like, oh damn, this looks really good, and I have no idea what led up to it, but now I can do it. That's kind of, I've had a couple of those epiphanies before. It took me a long time to get to the point where I didn't actually need to do the sketch beforehand. Sometimes when I'm at work and I want to do a quick doodle, I'll just do it. And it's a lot easier to draw with a reference than it is to draw from one's brain. Because your brain is not as reliable as you want it to be. But sometimes, like Bob Ross would say, you find a little happy accidents. And it just kind of works. What's it like to know that you can draw really well? It is a power. It's a devious power. And the reason I say that is because I can use my art for evil. I can draw evil things, dirty things. I have actually used not the naughty form of evil, but in recent years I've used my art to make fun of people that I did not like. And then I would share that art with people and be like, "Hey, you know that guy we mutually don't like? Look at him with a baby, looking like a baby." Or kind of like a political cartoon, but without the politics, just kind of making fun of someone. Actually, yes. Though I would say that some people are more like sorcerers where they just have that innate ability. I'm not one of those people. It took me a really long time to get good at drawing. I wasn't a natural at it. I kind of enjoyed the attention it got me when I would like show off my work and people were like, "Whoa, that's really good." And then in reality, maybe it wasn't. And that's the other thing. When you're looking at a drawing and you're drawing it, you're going to see every little mistake that you make because you're just staring at it for hours. Then you show it to someone and they just glance over it and they go, "Wow, that's the greatest thing I've ever seen. I can't even draw a stick person." And then you're like, "Oh, they didn't even notice all this mistakes I made, or it's not proportionally correct, or I forgot to color something in." They didn't even notice that. So when you think about that in the back of your head that, hey, this looks not, it's pretty good. It's not too bad. And then someone else sees it and they think it's amazing. You can actually rest easy knowing that, more times than not, people viewing your art, they're going to think it's good. Even if you're beating yourself up over it. Oh yeah? Oh yeah, okay. you know, yeah, I feel that too. See that, and that's the thing about artists, right? Where artists, we have a special talent that when we want to make something for someone that we care about, it's not like you went to the store and bought flowers or something. You spent a couple hours writing that song, performing it, making sure it's the best it can be, and then you perform it from the heart. And I've done drawings for people, and they still have them. I still have art from people all the way back from high school, and I'm kind of old, so. But not as old as Bullet, which I actually thought he was younger than me too. So, what does that say about me? I guess I think I'm old. I guess I feel old sometimes too. There we go. Let's do the little Thanos lines again. Actually, we'll do it from down to up. So I can do it like this. We should actually bring his chin out. Yeah, there we go. When I let my hair grow out as much as I've let it grow out recently, I kind of look a bit old. I need to get a haircut this weekend. Let's continue those Thanos lines down to his chin. It kind of gives him a really wrinkly look. I actually dig that, and I think we're going to continue these lines up the side of his jaw. Kind of like that. He's got this. Let's get rid of those lines better. Now he's kind of looking like one of those scrolls from Marvel. So we're moving away from Thanos and moving to like a scroll Cyclops. Only 29. I remember when I was 29. Good years. We used to just walk up hills for no reason so we can complain about it when we're older. Alright, let's move those away. Okay, now it's coming together. You know what? That's a great idea. I know you were just thinking about it too. What if we did... Hang on. Let's go back to our other layer that we were goofing around on. What if we did something like this, right? And we gave him this big ass tongue. Like this, right? What if we did something like that? Here, let's clean this. Let's clean this up. What if we did something like that? Right? I'm feeling it. We should do that. I kind of like that. We can either no big ass tongue coming out, or we can do big ass tongue coming out. We'll think about it. Let's get back into this. Big old traps again. Alright, let's do the tongue then. We're gonna actually use the lasso tool here. Because this is what's really cool about lasso tools. I can get right up into here. And we got that area selected. We can actually hit backspace on the keyboard. Bunk. All that's gone now. Control D to deselect. And now hit B for the brush. Let's do this. And then here comes the tongue. There we go. And then let's add this kind of... There we go. Now he's got a big old tongue coming out. Sweet. I'm wondering... Nah, maybe I'm not wondering. Alright, so pretty much the rest of it's just tracing over these lines. There we go. Alright. What color? Let's make him this off green color. Alright, so remember those layers we were talking about? We're going to add another layer underneath this guy. And we're going to go ahead. I like using the lasso tool. And now I can select pretty much. Huh? Oh, shit. There's no shift key on this tiny keyboard that I got. Uh-oh. We're going to select pretty much all of them. We can clean up the selection after we get something like that. Hit G on the keyboard, that does this. I forgot that Photoshop changed this, and I don't like that they did. There we go. Apparently this little keyboard I got is actually you can do the program on the keys, and I can set them up for different key inputs, and I probably will do that. Oh, like a stone color, you say? Oh, hang on. So let me get this cleaned up, and then what I can actually do is we can change its color as many times as we want till we get something that we kind of like. But I actually, you know what? We could do the stone color, and we can actually paint in some of the texture into its skin. So we could do this green color, but we do not want. I really want the teeth to be green. We can select everything that we don't want to be green, like the teeth and the tongue. And we can actually delete all that. Hey, what? No, what? Why is this a thing? Yeah, disable. Sticky keys off, yes. I don't know why that was ever a thing. Whoops. Alright. What the hell? We're having issues with this sticky key stuff. Do you want to turn on filter key? No, stop. I'm holding shift on the keyboard because when you hold shift, you can actually continue to select things. Dang it. Oh, what? Photoshop is just acting up now. Okay. I don't know what I did, but that's kind of the direction we wanted to go in. Is that because it's just the background? Oh, okay. Never mind. It did what I wanted it to. All right, so we deselect, or we got rid of all the green that we're looking for. So hit B again. Clean up some of these edges that I was a little sloppy on. And then do that. Alright, so now that we got the basic skin, I guess we could also get rid of stuff from the eye, because maybe we want the eye to be a different color. Maybe we do... I don't know. We'll figure that out in a second. Alright. There you go. Alright, so now we have this. Now what we can do is we can change to any color we want. So if we're thinking like... Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot. Photoshop did this thing with one of its updates that whenever you go to the... You might notice underneath the chat, I have colors. And I like to select my colors from there. But for some reason, it does it on the color underneath. So I actually have to hit X on the keyboard just to go over the color that I want. All right, so we could go with this color. We could go a little darker. We could, I don't know. We can go Thanos with them. Make him purple. One eye, one horn red. His eye red. Okay, I like that. All right, let's get his green was better. All right, we'll do green. I had like this almost bluish green, like this keeping it real with teal color. Yeah, like that. I kind of want to go. No, actually, this is a pretty good mid-tone. We can stay there. All right. We'll add another layer, and we will make this. This will be for the tongue and then the teeth, I think. So this is pretty easy. This layer sits underneath our green layer for the skin. And let's see. If you go to... No, I need to go into red. If you go just right here, and you hit G. Bam. That's a little too pink, I think. Let's do that. There we go. That's good. Add a horn. Or a set of horns. Alright, like just one central, slightly curved to the back kind of horn. Let's see how that works. We need to go back to black and white. Go to our brush. And let's... I mean, if we just do it, right? Just kind of right here out of this base of the head. Kind of like that. And then big brown nasty thing with some Thanos lines in it. Sure thing. You got it. Let's get some Thanos ridges. Bam. It's coming together, baby. Yeah, like that. We need to go underneath this layer here, and we need to go ahead and get rid of this green, because that's going to distract me. Bam! There we go. Yeah, I like that. That looks really good. And let's go ahead and make another layer so that we can... What's that? Let's go with this kind of dookie doo-doo brown. Let's make it more desaturated though. Yeah, let's do it like that. Alright, so what we can do here is now we can select everything under here all the way up the horn. Bam. Boom. Well, you told me not to say I've been drawing all my life, but I have been drawing all my life. See, I used to know this guy in college, because I did eventually make it to the Art Institute to study animation. And he was on this level. He would just look at something and he'd just be like, bam, I know how I want to do it. Can we add blood to the teeth? Oh yeah. Like his face is splattered with blood? I think so. If we add a layer and we right click on this layer with my mouse here and we do it into a clipping mask, then what we can do is I think I got a brush in my big set of brushes here that is just a splatter. I think. Let's see. Because then we can just splatter the blood onto his face. This one, maybe? No, not that one. I got a really good one for just such an occasion. I think. Huh. I thought I did. Bear with me now. I'm looking for it. Thick and wet oil? No. No. Well, actually, maybe. Let's see if we're kind of getting ahead of ourselves because I do have another thing to do. Let's go dark. Not that dark. Let's see what happens if I use this brush. Let's make it a little bit smaller. Oh, yeah. I think this can be pretty good. Let's lower the opacity so we can kind of control this a bit better. And get that blood kind of like on his nose a little bit. Like he was just in eating someone. Just getting in there. We'll have to go on the layer that has the teeth on it too. So we can get in there and get the teeth all bloody too. We need to I'm gonna make this a little bit smaller. We can get really into the details. Actually, what we can also do. That's too much. We can zoom in. There we go. And we'll definitely, what we'll do is, let's go ahead, we'll put in all this blood. And then we'll hit it with a lighter color. And we can get some highlights in there. Because the idea is, blood's going to be a bit shiny, right? There we go. Down on his Thanos chin, too. Let's increase our brush size as well. I'm going to do a little flick method here. And then we can make it really big. We can kind of blend the blood. Oh, yeah. Bloody. He must have, because he still looks like he's high, he must have eaten some adventure that was all stoned to the bone. Alright. We went a little too ham on this left side here, but because all this blood splatter is its own layer, we can do this. Boop. Clean it up. Then we go to this. We'll do the same thing where we will create this layer as a clipping layer as well. And then we get right back into it. Though, I wanted the teeth to be white or an off-white. We can do that afterwards. Let's just get the blood on there. I think we should make our brush really big too. And we'll do that. All right, and then add some more red. See, this is the effect. We haven't even got to the highlights and the shading of the whole beast. See, that's when we're going to take this drawing from this to the next level. I think we should choose another brush. What is this one? What is this one going to do to me? Oh, that looks kind of good. That looks kind of good. That's got some texture to it. Some rough grit. Oh, it's got this splotchy. It's got this really splotchiness to it. I kind of like that. Let's shrink it down because it's got some bite to it. Let's actually apply it to. Let's apply this to our green skin. Oh yeah, look at that. It gives it like this little splattery edges to it. It was a druid? You saying the Cyclops was a druid? Oh yeah. I think this is coming together nicely now. Now I kind of don't want to change the teeth into an off-white. I think the pink makes it actually look really good. Maybe the druid was cursed and it transformed into this creature. Alright, I think it's time for us to get into the fun of it. Oh wait, we said red eye, right? Oh, now you're saying yellow eye? Let's try yellow first. I do want to do that. Big old bright yellow eye. That's red. That's yellow. There we go. Yeah, that eye. And what we can do is from the black on the edges of the eye, we can blend it in with some orange. So it goes from like a gradient of orange into yellow into the center of it. But if I do this, bam, I think it's time to do my favorite part. I actually got, nope, that's not it. Gotta hit B on the keyboard to get us back. I got a brush all the way at the bottom. This one. It's a little too small though. That's a little too big. Alright, let's do this thing. Let's do this thing. Excellent keyboard. We're gonna start doing some shading on this thing. Just want it to be a little smaller. Alright, let's go ahead and get some shading in there. That, I want to lower the opacity even more. There we go. And now this is the part that I like. There was a guy on, he had his own website called idrawgirls.com. He didn't just draw girls though, he drew a lot of other things. But whenever he got to this step, when he would start doing the shading, his drawings would just pop. And I remember just being like, whoa! It went for some, like, I can kind of do that too. I don't know if I could do that. That was back when I was in high school, 500,000 years ago. And generally, it was on the highlighting portion of the drawing that it just really took shape. Here we go. Around the ears. Around the nose. Around this ear. There we go. See, now we're starting to get a little something. We're gonna do a little bit of shading in between each of our little Thanos lines, so we can get a little bit of something popping here. There we go. Coming together. I'm wondering, what would this look like if I changed it to multiply? That would look horrible. It's all look horrible. Yeah, never mind. Those will look terrible. We're not going to do any of that. Oh, I think it's fine. Oh, that's really not what I was looking for. Why is that so yellow? Oh, because we're on yellow. Damn it. There we go. That's better. Let's get the highlights in there. Little highlights there and there. This is where it starts to pop. Edge highlights. Mm-mm-mm. We can increase our brush size, and we're gonna just. Yeah, I think we're gonna have to do all the blood stuff separately because you're not gonna see the highlights underneath it all. That's fine. Sometimes that's just how it goes. I wanted to go back in out and just blend some of this together because it is very I used to have another brush for that. Let me see. Oh lordy, I don't even remember what it was. Was it this one? I think this might be the one that was really good at just taking the colors in between. Blending them together. Okay. We might actually want to go a little bit darker. Didn't do it. It didn't do it. I don't know why it does it like that. There we go. I like that. And I'm just gonna kind of like with our kind of like with when we did our rough sketch of this whole thing. We kind of did just a rough shading of all of it. Now it's time to get in there and clean it up, render it out. Kind of like that. We can use it to there we go. We can probably increase the opacity. Yeah, the opacity of this brush. There we go. Maybe back to the dark. I like it. Let's move on to the eyeball. I want to do that oranging gradient idea with something more like a blood orange kind of color. Something like that. And then we can do something like this. Yeah. Look at that. I think let's actually get a little darker. Do it right up on the edge. Because what we'll probably end up doing, and we're gonna fight back with that yellow. Yeah. There we go. That's what we're talking about. That's what I was kind of thinking about. So then let's go back to our blood layer. And we were talking about that blood is good, but I need something a little bit lighter so we can get some highlights in there. Like in the teeth. Let's do one more back. All right. It's not popping. I don't see it. Huh. I don't see anything. Nothing's happening. Nothing's changing. Oh, duh, because I'm on the wrong... I'm trying to do it on the teeth, but I'm not on the right layer. We need to be on this layer for the teeth. There we go. But it's yellow again. Where's this yellow keep coming from? This yellow keeps sneaking in and messing with me. There we go. We wanted this color. And I'm getting all the highlights right up in the teeth. Now the teeth they pop a bit better. I kind of want to go back to the one that had, speaking of teeth, we go back to this one. I think we get a little bit more grit in the shading. Yeah, that looks good. Very subtle detail, but it is working for me. It is coming along. Let's do 20%. Mm-hmm. I don't want to mess the teeth up anymore, so we're gonna select around the teeth to get this mouth section shaded without shading the teeth. There we go. We might as well add the other side to it too. Oh, I'll just do it like this then. There we go. So now we can get in there, make it darker, and then kind of do like this. Earthquake! Shaking the whole setup. All right. There we go. There we go. That's looking pretty good. Now we're going to jump back up here. Where this blood is. And we're going to make it a little bit darker along the edges here. But we're also going to bring in the highlights here in a second that we couldn't really get with... we were having a hard time getting the highlights underneath all the blood. Alright, let's go ahead and do that now. Kind of like this. Nah, actually, you know what? No, I don't think so. I think we still want to be mainly, I guess, just a brighter red. Damn that yellow. See, Photoshop never had this problem before. It'd always do it on the one you wanted. You know what? I'm still not feeling this. I think we're just gonna go straight bright red. You'll have to tell me what you think if this bright red is too much or not. Old Photoshop, whenever you would change the color, it changed it on the color you were actively using, not the background one. Now it does this thing where it just puts it on the background one, and then you're not thinking. I think that red is too red. Maybe more like this. Okay, that looks... I mean, the other red, a little too much. This one, I don't know. I think this was kind of working for me. Yeah, I think this one's working. Okay. I may be the artist, but I value your opinion as well. That's coming together. That's coming together. We've neglected like the whole body portion of this as well. All right, let's just throw something down here. Whoa, hang on a second. That's red. We don't want to use that. We want this, but probably more like this. There's that pesky yellow almost got us again. Whoa! Whoop. It's rough, but I think it'll do the job. We'll go into this other brush that I like using, which was this one. And we can use this to blend everything together, starting with the shadows. Ooh. There we go. We'll probably use a really good texture brush just to give some texture to the skin. And then switch it back over to the highlights we're using. So I think this brush has like a opacity pressure thing. So as I apply more pressure, it applies more of the lighter color to it. And the less pressure, less amount of the color that we're using. So I can kind of control how this blends into each other. Hey, that's pretty good. And then I want to actually get this in-between color here. And we're gonna do this. Kind of. Look at that. It's coming together. I like it when a good plan comes together. And when a good drawing comes together. Yeah, we'll have to make some upgrades to the overall layout or the overall setup of our stream. I'll have to figure out how to keybind this little tiny keyboard so I don't have to keep reaching over for some of these commands. My favorite one is just to make the brush bigger and smaller. And then I don't have an alt key to select this for the darkness. Because now it's time to get into whoops. Now we're going to get into the very edges. Kind of just make those really dark. Right up underneath the jaw. Make it darker there. Make it darker right along the pec. And I think we're also going to kind of do like this. A little bit of drop shadow for the tongue. So the tongue gets a little bit of a... Yeah, now that tongue's coming up off the top of the pec. Really feels like it belongs there now. We can actually get in and increase the contrast. I mean, at this point, we might as well go almost full black so we can get some deep dark in contrast in some of these areas we've already got. So like in the ear, maybe a little bit right there, along the edge here, and up the side of the ear, maybe right here where the ridge of the ear kind of folds back into itself, right up under the eye. We can give them this kind of like baggy eye look by increasing the shading right up underneath the eye. And we can get right here too. And look at that. Right up here, kind of right on the bottom here. Bullet! I saw you disappear. I think you were on lurker mode for a little bit. Hey, the horn's the most important part. I think that's what it was missing. The cherry on top, right? Actually, we haven't done nothing with the horn yet. Let's do something about that. We gotta add the highlights and everything to the horn. Bam. That was the wrong thing. And that's the right one. Alright. So let's dive in. We want. I always like to do shading first, so let's do that. And then do a little bit of this. And then we'll just use the brush I'm using. All right. So our lights coming from 3/4 view towards the eyeball. So we want to make sure all the shading, the majority of the shading, is coming from the back of the horn at its darkest point, and as it makes your way kind of towards the camera, then we'll add that highlight. So, and then shrink this down a little bit. Let's increase the opacity so we can get a little bit darker darks faster. We're actually gonna do this, and then this, and then this, and then this, and this, and then a little bit over here, right up underneath each little ridge, so that it pops. Get a little bit more pop. Look, Bullet, you got to keep it in the back of your pocket, man, that you are friends with an artist. If you need any art, let me know. I would not mind helping the community out that you're building. All right. Hey, that looks pretty good, right? Like, we got some shading in there. I'm telling you, every time you add the highlights, though, wham! That's when it looks really good. So we're going to get something like that. And now we're going to add the highlights, and this is when it's going to start to pop. And look at that. Just like that. Actually, if we get a little smaller on our brush, I think we can get a bit more of these back and forth little ridge lines. I want to lean into this one. Yeah, look at that. I think we can take this one step further. Was it? I appreciate that, man. I'm trying to learn new skills. I get bored if I'm not learning something. That's right. Always push yourself to the next level. But it's okay to reach out for help. Especially with something that I mean, how long has this stream been going on? And we got this much done so far. It takes a lot of patience, a lot of time to get something like this done. My hand is killing me too. When I was in the Marines, I actually broke my hand. It has never been the same. Look at that. That extra white highlight. Really get in there. I want something with more bite to it. Maybe something like this brush. Kind of get... Oh, hang on. Hang on. Hang on. I think that was it. Yeah, I think that was it. Oh, well, okay, so yes and no. I only got 3 years of my 4 years of college for animation done, and I have not kept up with those skills. So I'm kind of really rusty. I can probably animate something, but that would take a billion years, and you know how long we work. I almost didn't know if I was going to stream today, just given that we had to work today. Okay, so let's see. I think it's time. All right, so I think we're almost done. But since I added that nearly white color, I kind of want to do that, and we're just gonna make the last little bit of highlights pop, and then I think we're about done with it. I definitely thought it was gonna take me more time to do this, but that's not really the case. Took us what? Maybe an hour and 30 minutes? Ooh, scratches. That's what I'm looking for. Just a little bit of that extra white. I think I mainly just want to hit this with just with some of the edge highlights, just to give them that much more shine to them. Yeah, yeah, that looks good. All right. I think we're just about done. Little Bob Ross style stream today. I think next time we're gonna do a little bit of something in Blender, so we can get some more stuff on the Etsy page. But thank you for joining me on this stream, on this Cyclops adventure. I have one last question for you guys, and that has to be, what's his name? What are we gonna call this dude? Maybe we'll put like a little name tag on him. It says, "Hello, my name is." Not Slim Shady though. Actually, real quick, you know that I like that idea. We're gonna do that now. Let's go ahead, and this is gonna be the last thing we do. Is we're gonna put a name tag on him. Who is our mysterious friend? Oh, that is not the color we need. That is not the color we need. That's not the color we need. Oh, because we're at opacity nothing. There we go. And then we're gonna fill it in with white. Maybe an old Viking name. Well, the first thing that popped in my head, and I don't want to be too much. I don't want to steal too much from Monty Python, but I was thinking Tim. Something just really out of left field there. But we could give. I'm kind of bad. Whoa, that didn't even select the color that I wanted. I'm kind of bad at names though. There we go. What do those name tags look like? They kind of have like the red outline around it, like this. Right? And then it says something like, hello. My name is Tiny Tim. Yeah, okay, we'll do that. Oh, wait, we gotta do it in black though. Because it's like, hello, my name is. Tiny Tim. All right, guys. And I think with that, we're done. I'll be posting this on my social media, on my Instagram, under the same name, Penforged Arts. And this stream will be posted onto YouTube under the same name, Penforged Arts. If you have time, go over to my Etsy page by the same name, Penforged Arts. If you play Warhammer, D&D, anything like that, and you need 3D printed terrain, I have a couple of sets on there that you can buy. And of course, in the next stream, we'll be designing a brand new thing to add to the shop. So your input matters. Anyway, thank y'all, and I'll see you next time. Penforged Arts out.